Привет, дорогие друзья, зрители и подписчики канала, с вами Рон. Сегодня я хочу показать один довольно-таки нестандартный проект The Stanley Parable. А, Я, наверное, просто покажу, но вы сами решите, стоит ли внимания данный проект. В целом рекомендую посмотреть хотя бы а, пару моих прохождений, то есть у игры несколько концов, постараюсь сделать все это очень быстро. Ну, несколько это громко сказано, не важно. Я думаю, почти все и так прекрасно знают, что из себя представляет данный проект. Данное видео я хочу больше записать для своих немногочисленных друзей, которые постоянно зависают в онлайн-играх и могут упустить из виду такой вот уникальный, интересный проект. Если он когда-нибудь загрузится. The end is never the end. Да. Ну, видимо, запись свою берет, опять долго грузится почему-то.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, every month, of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Типичный офисный работник, по сути.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Я пойду направо.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Обязательно.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring.
Ого!
It had really been worth the detour after all.
Вот эта
Just to
комната,
spend a
вы
few moments
посмотрите,
here in
какая
this
комната.
immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Какой кофейник, вы только посмотрите. Вот это да, красота.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Да, оно определенно того стоило. Смотрите, какая картина красивая, пейзажи.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Не факт, не факт. Может, почему-то другому ушли.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Ладно, в общем, идем дальше.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ну да, конечно. Интересно, куда я вообще еду? Я сюда не ходил ни разу.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see, we went down right,
Не, ну потрясающая игра в стиле Portal.
left,
Таких
right.
проектов
Okay,
тоже не
okay,
хватает.
yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Окей. Так, а тут есть что-нибудь интересное? Нет, ничего нету. Ладно, идем дальше. Воу.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
Это спойлер, черт.
Okay.
Я не смотрю, я не вижу, я ничего не вижу.
Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Оп, и все, и по новой.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
О нет, что мне делать? Куда идти? Ну, окей, теперь пойдем налево. Однозначно налево. А вон и дверь, идем налево. Что?
No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game. We were completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors?
Я вообще не при делах. Меня подставили. Я не знаю, что произошло.
Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago.
Да, давайте вот тут почини.
Okay then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find
ну, как я говорил, давайте пойдем налево. Хотя... Какого черта? Что? Я сделал круг? Вот там вроде выход какой-то.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this.
Как отсюда выбраться?
Let's give it a shot. Why not?
Еще раз перезапускаем игру. Прикольно. Так. Ну ладно.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Вот это поворот.
He had simply missed a memo.
Как же такое случилось?
Okay, yep, it's worse.
Да.
It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Ну, окей. Там вроде ничего не упустили, все двери закрытые были. Идем назад. Стоять. Где же мой кабинет был? Какого черта?
I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Что за...
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Что?
Do you remember, Stanley?
Где дверь?
Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Ура!
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work.
Ну да, как-то легко все
Some
было.
people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Опять перезапуск. А что такое? Что? Какого...
Right, I've got a solution. This
Что
time,
за...
to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Ну ладно. Тут ничего больше не поменялось. То мало ли. Еще какая-нибудь дверь появится. По идее, сюда надо.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Ну, как скажешь, ладно.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct?
Что ты несешь?
Hang on. That got a bit weird back there.
Согласен, понесло.
Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
То, что надо, согласен. Ну, предположим. Блин, я заблудился. Что это музыка, это вообще жесть.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Ну, предположим, что запомнил.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Mm.
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Ну, пойдем. Как будто у меня выбор большой есть.
This is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Выпустите меня отсюда. Вот мое желание.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need
Я теперь пойду налево.
Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay. So I
Ладно.
know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere
Найдем обратную
the place
сторону.
where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here.
Гениально.
Turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse
Мастер
door's
логики.
origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Что?
Oh, hold up, what's
Что
this?
это?
The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really?
Что за...
No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
Ну, сломали цикл.
Whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now I
Пойдем
just
посидим.
wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
А что это было?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure.
Ну его
What if he
нафиг.
had to make a decision?
Я испугался,
What
что у меня
crucial
компьютер
outcome
уже
fell on his
сгорел от такого
responsibility?
звука.
He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy.
У меня есть компьютер, я
Stanley
счастлив.
waited.
Ура!
Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure
Я знал, у меня часы есть.
was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Ладно, в этот раз пойдем уже.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Что? Что происходит? Что тут за чертовщина? Я не знаю, уже 6, 7, 9, 10 раз уже игру перезапускали. Тут черти что происходит. Даже сам автор не знает, этот офис или нет. Предположим.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Окей.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Я бы, конечно, налево пошел.
Yes.
Но у
This
меня почему-то
room.
понеслось сюда.
What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room.
Да.
Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meter. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through
Ну,
the
сюда мы
maintenance
уже
section,
ходили, пойдем
walked
дальше.
straight ahead to the opposite door and got back on track.
Угу.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Список обсуждений, встреч в этом конференц-зале или что это? Что у нас? Презентация, PowerPoint. 2012, наверное. Так, using slides. Угу. Ну, в общем, ничего интересного, что-то опять про служащих. Каждый уникален. Или должен быть. О!
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Найти гаечный ключ. Я хочу Гордоном Фриманом себя почувствовать.
There
Там у
was
него
nothing
ломик
here.
был, конечно.
No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No
А мне
reason
здесь
to still
нравится.
be here.
Так. По-любому что-то есть.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ну ладно, посидим еще.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please
Если
offer
бы
me
я
some
знал.
explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Я сам не понимаю. Зачем я здесь стою?
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite."
Да, крутейшая концовка, супер. Мне нравится.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
То есть уже доводит автор.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead.
Я
You
сдох.
got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard.
Ну,
In
про
a
меня,
situation
что
like
ли?
this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person in this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Не-не, сейчас подожди, может еще что скажешь. Я думаю, это все. Сомневаюсь, что он до бесконечности может что-то тут говорить.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who can. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Ну ладно, пойдем, уже уговорил. Прикольная кладовка.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ну, предположим. Что? Закрыто. Здесь тоже никого.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
Что, какой
Of
код?
course,
Я не
Stanley
слышал.
couldn't possibly have known this.
Да, откуда я знаю, какой код? Тут миллион комбинаций. Давайте подбирать. Давайте. 0, 0, 0, 0. Неверно. Черт. Пробуем снова. 0,
Stanley just
0.
sat around twiddling his
0.
thumbs. Trying
Один.
to input, Stanley simply began
Почти
entering
угадал.
random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew
Спокойно,
that the
тут всё
combo
10
was
тысяч вариантов.
2845, it would be another story. 2845.
Нет, я справлюсь без подсказок. Я найду нужный код.
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself.
Что?
And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Что? А, мне повезло, блокировка сработала. Ура! А, здесь прыгать нельзя. Ну ладно. Бедный автор этой истории. Я его достал уже. Сейчас, наверное, опять туда же приеду, где в прошлый раз нашел желтую линию.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Блин. Что мне делать? Куда идти? Бежим отсюда. Спасаемся.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Да нет, ты меня обманываешь.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Ладно, сходим туда сначала, а потом уж обязательно туда заглянем.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Ради чего ему жить? Кнопку нажимать на компьютере.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret
вон
did this place
платформа эта.
hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Что? Я могу прыгнуть в обрыв, я хочу умереть. Пустите меня, я хочу сдохнуть. Нельзя, ну ладно. Бедный Стэнли.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an
Да, я
employee
знаю,
in the
матрица.
building, Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Что? Что это за звуки? Вот там ошибка какая-то. 427. Да, нашлась маленькая комнатушка. Что? 234 сломал свою камеру, наверное.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true.
Да это
Had
неправда.
Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in
Этого не
someone
может
else's
быть.
control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Давайте включим питание.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Что?
After they kept you
Что я
enslaved
наделал?
all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley.
Вот это
I applaud
экранчик.
your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine
Какие ядерные детонаторы?
DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
Что мне
How
делать?
long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now.
Дверь.
Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one.
Нужно зарядить батарею и открыть
More
эту дверь.
time to talk about you, about me.
Что сделать?
Where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Что?
Other times,
Ах ты
I
автор.
let the office sink into the ground,
Я найду, где ты
swallowing
сидишь,
everyone inside,
где ты
or I
сидишь,
let it
и
burn to
уничтожу
ashes.
тебя.
I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
Что?
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Блин, а что делать? Какую кнопку нажимать? Куда пароль вводить?
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're
Да-да-да.
doing right now?
Что мне
Or
делать?
did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Что?
Stanley, you're in for quite
Я
a
понял.
disappointment.
Там были
But here's a
цифры.
spoiler for you.
0142. На мониторах были цифры. Синяя 3. Нужно найти 0. Что, теперь вообще нет цифр. Что за...
This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30
Что?
seconds you have left to struggle.
Goodbye,
30
employee
seconds until a big boom
427.
No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Все. Крутейшая концовка, надо сказать. Да, вот такая вот она, эта игра. Я думаю, впереди будет еще много интересных концовок. Я, в общем говоря, побегаю дальше по этому офису. Но вы оставляйте комментарии насчет данного видео, насчет самой игры. Пишите какие-нибудь интересные, уникальные концовки, которые я еще не посмотрел. Мне будет интересно их попробовать. Только, пожалуйста, не надо полностью концовку описывать. Что? Телефон звонит?
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
13:27. Короче,
Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly.
говорит, что доставили 1300, там, грубо говоря, 30 коробок. Возможно, это пароль от ядерной бомбы. 13:27, надо запомнить. Блин, интересная игра. Не знаю, в общем, оставляйте свои комментарии по поводу игры, пишите там какие-нибудь скрытые прохождения, не знаю. Мне будет интересно все это попробовать и переигрывать вновь и вновь, чтобы найти все концовки. Ой, это круто. Ладно, в общем, оставляйте свои комментарии, делитесь видео с своими друзьями. Ну а на этом пока все.